To someone who's never seen a beatboxer before, never heard of beatboxing, explain what the art of beatboxing is.
Beatboxing is a form of vocal percussion. We are the jazz drummers, the tabla players, the rock percussionists of hip hop music. And it's rooted in vocal percussion, but we also take on other roles as a one-man band. Percussion section, bass section, and turntables. That's what beatboxing is.
How did you discover this talent?
I discovered it as a youth growing up in the 70s and 80s. Hip hop was still a baby, beatboxing was still a baby, and so it was very popular with the youth. It became a household thing with the Fat Boys. Dougie Fresh was one of the original pioneers of beatboxing as well, and it just kind of carried on in its own way through the 80s into the 90s. Really started to migrate into other parts of the world in the late 90s with Razel, the Godfather of Noise, Kenny Muhammad, the Human Orchestra, who appeared with the New York Philharmonic, DOA, Eminon, and Kenny Muhammad forming MB 2000, a beatbox supergroup in New York City. So yeah, it's really popular, not just in the US, but in London, Australia, other parts of the world. It's really taken off.
What kind of venues do you usually perform?
I perform everywhere. I play music for the dance department at Towson University during the daytime. I perform from jazz venues to rock venues, hip hop. Performing with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra and now with the Hartford Symphony Orchestra in January at Bushnell. So it's something that's applicable to just about any and every situation, not just venues, but also out in the public. Many street cyphers have taken place throughout Baltimore, other cities, New York City. So it's, with your instrument being there with you, it's something that can work just about anywhere.
And what's the piece you're doing with the Hartford Symphony in January?
Fujiko's Fairy Tale, composed by Jan Vanio from Finland. And it's a piece inspired by Japanese anime, and it's composed specifically for beatboxing and strings. And he had it composed in such a way that varying beatboxers can interpret the percussive qualities of the song and sort of create their own arrangements. And was responsible for the U.S. premiere, and I sort of arranged and semi-composed my own parts for the piece. The way I did it and the way it was done originally it was completely different. So it's something that could be easily tailored and reinterpreted by other beatboxers.
And how did you meet Carolyn Kwan?
Met her when I was working with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, and she was Marion Alsop's assistant, and she came up here and then decided to bring the piece to the Hartford area again. What's really cool is that now I have 4 nights to really explore the possibilities of the piece. So yeah, January 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th is when I'll be presenting that piece here in the Hartford area.
And what's it like for you as an artist to go from performing in a jazz club or performing in a hip-hop club to suddenly performing with a string orchestra in a concert hall? How do you change your art?
Well, these different experiences inform my next experience. I feel that playing so much music for dance, and not just for dance, but for dance technique classes, it's a perfect balance of being really obscure and abstract in your thought and then being very pragmatic, because you're forced to improvise and compose a piece for a choreographed phrase in the moment. You have no idea what's going to happen from one moment to the next. So I think that's informed my approach to composing outside of hip-hop, whether it's for jazz or with an orchestra. I did a reinterpretation of New York Counterpoint by Steve Reich. Did this at the Evolution Music Series in Baltimore. And the percussive part that I did, it reminded me of the sort of thing that I would play for a modern dance class. If I remember correctly, it was either in a 7 or a 9 count, but before the end of the count, there were all these variations that took place within that rhythmic structure. before I went back to the one count. So yeah, it just I feel like those experiences inform how I travel over to the next form or genre, no matter what it may be.
What are the building blocks of your art? If you were to take someone from the ground up and show them how to do the basics of beatboxing.
Let's see, the basics. Well, it's one of those things where it's better to just jump right in there and just go headfirst into the water, and just keep trying to swim. But some of the basics are just rooted in percussive articulations that we all make already, even within the English language. Like for example. C A B C C C C C C C C B the letter A B B B B B the letter K K K K K K K K. Like that.
Where do you see your art form going? How do you build on the basics, and what would you like to do with it?
I think beatboxing has vast potential to be used in a transcendent manner, because it captures the imagination of children, of adults. You know, it's there's that oh my god factor, and that's the thing that blows me away when I see other beatboxers perform. If I'm laughing out of appreciation and I think to myself, there's no way that beatboxer is doing that. No, there's no way they're making that sound. Then that means that beatboxer has achieved what they set out to do in regards to the transcendency of it and its technique. But in a musical fashion, I think there's even more room for it to grow, even more room for it to be to have a larger global platform. Not that it already doesn't have that, but I think there's plenty of room. There's so much void out there for beatboxing to sort of fulfill. So yeah, whether it's working with an orchestra or working with ballet classes or doing a duet with a tabla player from India, you know, like lots of these experiences are first time experiences for the people that I've worked with, and the same with other beatboxers. So there's a lot of history to be made because of that highly innate transcendent potential there, not just technique wise but also musically as well.
And what are your impressions of the city of Hartford and the Hartford Symphony Orchestra?
My impressions? My impressions are that they are very open to something new, and they want to be moved by something that they haven't seen before, and they're looking for something that has edge but that can still come back down to earth and have some grounding. So and that's exactly what I try to do. I try to play with the abstract and the practical and fuse those two things together, and you know, see where else we can go with the future of music.
What should someone expect if they're coming to see your concert and have never seen a beatboxer before? What do you want to prepare them for?
I want to prepare them for something that makes them forget where they are. I'm not in Hartford, Connecticut. I don't know where I am right now. And also for them to have a moment of, there's nowhere else I'd rather be right now than where I am at Hartford, Connecticut, at the Bushnell. Yeah, something. I'm looking to. I definitely enjoy tickling minds, but I also want to move people's their sensibilities of what music can or cannot be, perhaps as well.
So the audience is going to get plenty of a chance to see you both with the orchestra and a little bit of freestyling. Can you take us out and give us a taste? The freestyling of Shodekeh. All right.